astonishing, rightful, legal, constitutional, and lawful news today. And this is good news for the rule of law, because Donald Trump is unlawfully violating deportation rights of civilians that supposedly you all proclaim, at least the Republican, right-wing liberals, or right-wingers do, that Donald Trump supposedly got his rights violated of due process in his 34 felony count in the first degree conviction hearing in his hush money criminal trial. What all does the reporting say of that Judge Boasberg denied his request? What all does the reporting say? Well, let's find that out in today's video. This reporting is by Democracy Docket. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Mark Elias. The article is titled, Judge Rejects Trump's Request to Allow Deportations Under the Wartime Law. And the article reads, a federal judge rejected a request from the Trump administration to lift a court order preventing it from using an 18th century wartime law to deport people to a Salvatorian, hard labor prison without due process. That, ladies and gentlemen, right there is illegal, and it cannot stand per constitutional law. President Donald Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act earlier this month to deport to El Salvador hundreds of people that the government claims are members of the Tren Aragua, a transnational criminal organization, while denying them the ability to challenge that designation. District Judge James Boasberg said he in part rejected the Trump administration's request because there is a strong public interest in preventing the mistaken deportation of people based on categories they have no right to challenge. Boasberg, who was appointed to the D.C. District Court by former President Barack Obama, but who was also appointed to D.C. Supreme Court by former President George W. Bush, said the 5 Venezuelans represented by Democracy Forward and the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, who sued over deportations under the AEA, were likely to win. Plaintiffs are likely to succeed on another equally fundamental theory, Judge Boasberg wrote, before they may be deported, they are entitled to individualized hearings to determine whether the act applies to them at all. Boasberg defended his previous order preventing deportations under the AEA, saying that it only applied to using the AEA to initiate deportations. The Trump administration has still been able to carry out deportations under other federal laws. The judge noted that before Trump had invoked the act, members of the Trinity Aragua were all already deportable as members of a designated foreign terrorist organization. Boasberg's orders sparked an immense amount of condemnation from Trump and his allies. They have called for the judge's impeachment, while Attorney General Pam Bondi, in an official statement from the DOJ, claimed the judge supported terrorism by issuing his order. Ladies and gentlemen, that statement by Pam Bondi is false. There is no legal, lawful authority to support this claim by Pam Bondi that Judge Boasberg supports terrorists. There's just no evidence or factual evidence, if that supports this bogus, outright BS claim. The impeachments will not go forward with Chief Justice John Roberts. Here's why. Because he rebuked Donald Trump multiple times, as well as said that, pretty much summarizing, and this is me summarizing it, said that pretty much that he is not supporting Donald Trump's and his corrupt party's claims of demanding the impeachment of these, quote, rogue judges that oppose him and rule against him. There's just no factual evidence regarding that. Donald Trump does not like that he is being overruled and overran per judicial authority because of his illegal constitutional acts. It's more so that we have a rogue administration. Continuing with the article. Plaintiffs in the case have argued that many of the people sent to Salvadorian prisons were not members of the Trinity Aragua, but were immigrants who could be tortured or killed in the prison. The Trump administration has maintained in court filings that those removed were carefully vetted and posed an extraordinary threat to the American public. However, it has also said many of those removed under the Alien Enemies Act do not have criminal records in the United States, and the government lacks specific information about each individual. Democracy Docket founder Mark Elias is the chair of Democracy Forward, of the Democracy Forward's board. The judge vows to probe if Trump officials defied his court order. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's legal breaking reporting. Donald Trump, more than likely, hopefully at least, will not win. Shout out to Mark Elias, the Democracy Docket founder and Democracy Forward chairman. That is going to do it for today's legal breaking reporting, ladies and gentlemen. If you did enjoy this legal breaking reporting, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy. Feel free to comment your support. As always, it's much appreciated. Couple things you guys can do if you want to make sure you never miss a brand new legal breaking reporting that comes out onto the channel. One is you can, by all means, hit the bell icon that is right next to the subscribe button below the screen here, on the right hand side, and click the all icon instead of the personalized icon. The all icon lets you be notified of every single legal breaking reporting analysis. The personalized icon obviously does what it stands for. It does not allow you to be notified of all of the illegal breaking analysis videos. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can also be notified instantly of when I post a legal breaking analysis video by following me on my social medias that'll be linked down below in the video description. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, please help me reach the channel goal of 150 plus subscribers. The reason why I'm saying 150 plus subscribers is because right after we reach the goal of 150 subscribers, we have more subscribers to reach and achieve after we reach the goal of 150 subscribers. Until my next reporting, ladies and gentlemen, please stay safe, please stay positive, and know that justice will prevail despite Donald Trump and his illegal administration's illegal and unconstitutional efforts.